Hello, friends. Welcome to Coding Garden. Welcome to a Friday stream where we're going to be working on Listed, a full stack app that will allow users to create, share, and watch lists of YouTube channels. Welcome in. Glad to see you. This is the app as it exists so far. We don't have many features, or any features really. We've really just been working on getting our SvelteKit app set up and getting a good developer experience for collaboration on GitHub and also like when you're working on the code locally. But so far, you can click the sign up button that takes you over to Google, click your account, that takes you back to our app. We have this onboarding page. Right now, it doesn't ask you for anything, but eventually we're going to ask for what language you prefer. If you want, like, watch your eyes, 3, 2, 1. If you want light mode or dark mode, you can choose which one you want. And then when you click let's go, you're onboarded and now you can start using the app. So that's what we have so far. Today is more dev stuff. So I don't actually think we're going to work on any features. We're going to do some configuration validation. We need some loading indicators, just like quality of life things on the page. Like when I click log out, it was somewhat instant, but we need to show a loading indicator. And like when I click sign up, it's not an immediate redirect. So we need to show some kind of loading indicator. So we're going to show loading things. We're going to validate our configurations and also set up Lint stage. We might set up Lint staged first. So I've never used Lint staged, but it sounds really cool. Sounds really cool. It was recommended to me by someone in the chat. But basically what it does is, and Razorson, thank you for the resub. Whenever we run our commit hooks, we don't need to run the linter against every single file or the type check, I guess. Maybe that does have to run against every single file, but at least for the linting, we can limit it to only the files that have changed. So that will also, that'll greatly improve the local developer experience for when you're creating a new commit. That way it only has to run against the files that have changed. So we'll potentially set that up first. Then we'll work on auth state. Then we'll work on config validation. And then I'll probably be exhausted by that time. But if we still feel good, then maybe we can hook up to the YouTube API. Because this is our app. We're going to need to be calling their API to search for YouTube channels and then get back information about the videos on those channels, that kind of thing. So maybe if we get all of these things done, then we'll work on that. But based on how things go around here, we probably won't get to that. We won't get to that. And during our breaks, we'll probably continue to color the map of Europe. Yeah. All right. Welcome in, everybody. Glad to see you. Wait, somebody did what in an issue? I don't know what you mean, but welcome in. Glad to see you. Hello. Hi. If you're new here or this is your first time tuning in from the beginning of a stream, we have lots of cool chat commands. So if you see users with icons, like Avi has the Discord icon, and Farshid has the Tux Linux Penguin, and Oscar has the Svelte icon, and Mark has the NeoVim icon, and Damon has the Cisco icon. You can put a team or an icon next to your name. If you just read that, it'll tell you how to do it. You can also set your country flag. So American 2050 has the Argentina flag there. Avi has the Israel flag. Farshid has the Germany flag, so you can set your flag too. Yeah, and if you want to know more about what we're working on today, here's all the info. If you want to check out the code, it's on GitHub, and this is a SvelteKit app. So we have SvelteKit for the database. We're using Prisma as our ORM, and we're talking to a Postgres database. It's all TypeScript. It's all TypeScript. Yeah. Are there other commands? Oh, yeah, you can set your pronouns too. So if you want to know what pronouns you can set in the overlay, you can choose from this list. And then, for instance, my pronouns are he, him, his. So if I did exclamation mark pronoun followed by he in the overlay, you can see my pronouns are set just like that, just like that. Set status? I'm not going to tell people how to set status. They can go back and watch an older stream if they want to know that. Issue number 83. It's not easy. It's not that easy. I mean, it probably would only take us like maybe 10 minutes to do, but maybe. Here, we'll put it on the board. Because I don't know, I'm pretty sure it's more involved than just the code you provide. Like, so there's like maybe 2 more lines of code we need than the code that you provided. Um, this will be in the backlog, and I guess this is technically like the onboarding process, so sign up and account management. I don't even know if we have a category for this. Honestly, should internationalization be its own epic? I think it should. Let's create an epic really quick on the project. Um, project settings. Um, epic. I-18 in. Because there's quite a few things we need to do for internationalization. This being one of them. All right, so we got a new epic. Now, if you all can help me out, I want to stop skipping my breaks. I need to take even like these quick 10-second breaks. I need to take these quick 10-second breaks as well. So if you see me dismiss a break, call it out. Be like, yo, take your break, because the stream that I did on Wednesday was a 7-hour stream. I took one break the entire 7 hours. I need to take breaks. Remind me, take breaks. Okay. So epics, we just added that. So GitHub has custom fields. So we added or GitHub Projects has custom fields. So we added a custom field called epic, and then we're just adding our own in there. So this is internationalization. Great. And now it should be on the board now. If I don't take a break, you'll unsub. I think that's good. That's a good motivator. Yes, yes. Okay, let's say hi to everyone, and then let's just start coding, because we got stuff to do. But like I said, we are going to take breaks, short breaks, but breaks nonetheless. True, America 2050. True. All right, let's say hi to everybody. If you want me to say hi to you in the chat, you can say hi, hello, hello, hey, yo, cheers, greetings, hi, sup, what's up, morning, afternoon, evening, howdy, good day, coding hi-yo, vo-hi-yo, or boga hey. Say any one of these things. I'll say hello right back to you. And we're going to go back in time to an hour ago, where America 2050 was the first to say hello. What's up, America 2050? Glad to see you. Hello, what's up, William Cameron? And hello, Mark and Podplip. What's up, Limeoats? And Slake 2020. What's up, Just 7 Stars and Lake Key. Hello, Bloated Knickknack and Convergent Sequence. What's up, Oh, is Ed and Veeb and Origin and Shark Turn Up. And hello, Ched and Oscar. And Vloops. What's up, Zelino and the Shivas and Jimbo Baggins. Hello, Brilvio and Roga Dev and Damon. Hello, Israel Cena and Avi. Says finally migrated my popular YouTube extension to Plasmo. Nice. Yeah, feel free to drop your link in your portfolio link in the chat, Avi. Avi has created a bunch of Chrome extensions that do cool things. But what's up? Hello, Balanek and Farshid, and hello, Trooper, and Valk, and David. What's up, Stas? And Q21. How's it going, Veritatas and HTTP404? Hello, that developer and SQL Gorster, and Raul, and Damon, and Baleknoak, and the Rugged Bear. How do I get along with SvelteKit so far? Seems fine. Like I said, we haven't worked on a lot of actual features. But the real SvelteKit stuff we've done are things like middlewares, layouts and pages. And I do have to say, I kind of do like how SvelteKit does the file-based routing. And you see this little thing here with the parentheses? This is route grouping. And it's a really cool way of grouping routes that you can then like target in your code without that being in the URL. So when you go to the onboarding page, it's just /onboarding, but because it's in this folder, it's in the protected group. And then we can have logic in our middlewares that say, oh, if you're navigating to anything in the protected folder, because eventually we're going to have like profile page and everything else under there. So that's cool. Yeah, I honestly, I don't think we've used it enough to like really gauge what we're doing, which is sad because this is like day 7. But ultimately, we've really just been making sure we have a good developer experience. We've worked on linter configs, prettier configs, git commit hooks, GitHub actions. It's been quite an effort just to make sure all of the ESLint stuff is working properly. So yeah, ultimately what we need to do is we could really take this, and this could be a starter kit for other SvelteKit objects. That's probably what we need to do. So what's up, Dev Henrique, and Jim McDonald, and hello, Moshiko, and Crud, and BJ Sebastian, hello, Mr. Gollum, and Scotty, what's up, Noko, and BS Ennis, welcome in. Glad to see you. And hello, Lester Wolf. Glad to see you. Yes, SvelteKit is to Svelte as Vue is to Nux. SvelteKit is to Svelte as React is to Next.js, or React is to Remix. Yes, that is the kind of thing that it is. Oh, anybody can set a team. Look at that. You got the NeoVim team. Look at you. Oh yeah. I'll, I'll mention I'll mention this. So if you look at the GitHub repo, we have an issue talking about a logo for the app. I don't know if I want to choose a logo yet. Because there's a lot of options. I really like marks. Some people don't like it because they think the L looks like a V, but I don't think it does. I like that one. And like these are cool. This is cool, but I think it's a little too abstract. It almost looks like Figma or something like that. And then this reminds me of like Opera or like Verizon. So, and it looks like a check mark. I'm not sure how I feel about this one. There are quite a few, yeah. And then Amasil did this one. And then Hunter Parks did this one. There's a lot to choose from. A lot to choose from. But I will say I'm leaning towards this one. I don't know, but we're not going to talk about that today. Bloated Knickknack says, last month I subbed with the message that I completed my qualification in web app dev. I've already resubbed this month, so no message, but I accepted a junior Django dev. Nice! Yeah, I mean, I helped you with that. I don't even do Python, but that's awesome. And Priscel's here. It's been a while. Whoa, thank you for the resub. Feeling kind of bad, only writing once a month. Oh, no. Don't you worry. That is totally fine. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. But yeah, congrats, Bloated Knickknack. That's awesome. I heard SvelteKit can be used with other frameworks. I haven't heard that. That could be interesting to check out. There are quite a few nice designs. I agree with that, yeah. Yeah, it's tricky, Moshiko. I think if you're more of a beginner, if you're less experienced, ChatGPT and also GitHub Copilot could potentially be a crutch, right? And the other tricky part, like, and I say that in that you might get to a point where you no longer feel like actually implementing the solution yourself. You're just asking ChatGPT or GitHub Copilot to do it for you. And why that's dangerous, at least right now, when there are still developer jobs where you get paid to write code and we're not just letting AI write code, you kind of need to know how to do that stuff without those tools, because you might not be able to use them at every job you work at. And then the other thing is the code that it generates, you need to really get in the habit of understanding or attempting to understand the code that it generates, because you shouldn't just trust it at face value. You should look at every line and try to understand what it does. I guess that's my opinion on it. If you're going to do it, make sure you understand the code that it generated for you. And if you don't understand the code that it generated for you, ask it or figure it out. That's true. We did set up the UI library. We've done a lot. I guess it's hard to see the amount of progress we've done, but if you look at the dev logs, this details our progress. We do a short summary of every stream of all the stuff that we've worked on. So yeah, I mean, we've done some stuff. If there's no features, like you can't watch YouTube videos, so it feels like we haven't done anything, but I think it's all necessary. Yeah. I appreciate that, Bloated Knickknack. It's good to know. At least I inspired you, and then you found some stuff, so that's good to know. Welcome in, it's not DG. Glad to see you. Yeah. Yeah, I too like coding over architecting. At my last job, I was essentially an architect that coded. So that is a thing, but it was a smaller company, so. Yeah, so this is in regards to ChatGPT or GitHub Copilot. You might lose your sense of critical thinking. Yep. I'm not really even worried about the devlogs. You can see the number of views that they've gotten, but early ones, quite a bit. The one that launched today, it's slow. If you want to help me out, click that link, watch this video. I just released it today. So yeah, each of them gets at least 2,500 views or so, which is decent. Decent. All right, I got to skip everything else. We got to get coding. Having it write SQL queries for you. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, good to know, Paracelsia. I'm glad our work with SvelteKit is helping other people. I want to make it reproducible, though. I've talked with a couple of people about creating like a SvelteKit project generator or something like that. I might even create my own repo for like various ES-Lint configs for Svelte, React, Next, Nux, that kind of thing. So yeah. Yeah. Is it normal to authorize users via tokens that are bound to an IP and saved into cookies? I don't have the time to answer that because I got a code. So first we're going to try to set up Lint stage. I've never used this before. And we're going to go into focus mode so I can get some stuff done. So I've never used Lint stage. It says you just install it, but then how do we set it up? So in Lint stage basically only runs our linters, only runs the linter on things that have chains. So let's take for an example. If I make a code change right now, and let's say I break the linter. Quick break, take your hands off the keyboard. Stand up if you've been sitting at home all day. Break. And if you're just joining us, please remind me to take my breaks. Whenever that pops up, I have to be reminded to do it. Okay, so if I remove a semicolon, right now my linter yells because it says, hey, we prefer semicolons. And then if I try to commit this code, the linter is going to run and it's going to stop me from committing. Yeah, thank you. So if anybody in the chat asks common questions or things that I have commands for, please help them out with the chat commands. Thank you, because I got to get stuff done. Okay, so right now you can see that I have a change because I removed that semicolon. But if I try to stage that commit and then actually commit it, and bloated knickknack, thank you for the bits. I appreciate that. Yeah, I need to set a good example for taking breaks. So if I try to commit this, we have a commit hook that first runs the type check and then runs the linter. But you can see that the linter is taking a while because it had to look at like every single file. Watch me try to do it again. And so like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds. That should only take like a second because I've literally only changed one file. And so that's what I want to set up right now. So whenever I run the linter check on a commit hook, I only want to run it on changed files. And you'll notice that this prevented me from committing. So because I had a linter error, it says, hey, you can't commit that. Great. Let's try to set up Lint stage. So I'm just going to install it, and then we're going to read their docs on how to do it. Yeah. Set up a pre-commit hook to run Lint staged. So we'll have to do that. Install some linters. Configure Lint stage to run on linters and other tasks. For example, see the configuration for more. Yeah, so how do we set up configuration? We need we can have a Lint stage object in our package.json, or we can have a separate file. Let's go with the separate file. Ooh, we could do this. A CJS file, so that way the linter can run on our config. Another config, yeah. It's unfortunate, but we're going to make another config. Welcome to Config Garden. More config files. All right, so we have this. We're going to export an object. And then we do just this. But then we can specify what kind of files we want to run it on, I think. Yeah, so by default, Lint stage will run configured tasks concurrently. This means that for every glob, all the commands will be started at the same time. Yeah, I did see that you could put it in the package.json, but I think I like having a separate config because then it's more easily found. Because otherwise you would have to know to go in here and then find the section. So I think I do prefer a separate config file. More configs. So I think I guess honestly, can we just say run ESLint on everything? And then is there a way to do a type check? Yes. So first of all, you can see in our existing pre-commit hooks. Though, here's the other thing. I don't even think I need ampersands in this, do I? I can do these each on a new line, can't I? Like this. But right now, it runs SvelteKit sync and then type check, lint, test. I think, and if we look at the type check task, what does it do? It just does tsc -- no emit. Do I need to specify the config file? I guess it wouldn't hurt. We don't have TSX files. How do I specify more than one file? Do I just put it in there more than once? Because we also need to specify Svelte, like TS files and Svelte files. But we also have TS. Do I just put it in there twice? And why does that one return an object versus just a... Yeah, I mean, a function. Why does that return a function? And then our example earlier just had a command. Curious. So we have Svelte files, TS files, and then ESLint should run for everything. Is it... let's try that, Avi. Okay, honestly, let's just try the type check and see if this works. So now that we have the config, we should be able to just do npx lint staged. Let's see. No, not that. That's wrong. Lint staged. No staged files matched any configured task. So this did not match. Oh, because we have a well, yeah. So it didn't match the TS file. I have no problem doing it twice. And then also, I don't think we need it to be a function. Let's see if this works, at least for TypeScript files. Project cannot be mixed with source files on a command line. So that's why we need it to be a function. And then we also do it for Svelte. What's up, Codex? We're in, it's config garden. Okay, so let's see if it actually, let's see if it actually does the type check though. So if I go to that changed file, let's make a bogus error. This thing does not exist, so the type check should fail. Oof. Oof. It didn't fail. Oof. If I run npm, if I do npm run type check, it should fail. Yeah, this. Also, what's all this? Oh, because that's wrong. Because that's yeah. So multiple failures. So it's not actually working. So let's just get it working on TS files. This matcher is not working. If we don't do the -p, does that change anything? Ask it to run an npm command. But I think it's like passing the files that have changed as an argument to it. Good call, Veritatas. We should basically say, run this on everything. No, it's not working though. Oh, sorry to hear that, Codex, but at least it's calm today. Okay, we get back to the docs. Honestly, we should look at their GitHub repo to see if someone has an example or like an issue about TypeScript. Um, TSC. What's up, Waves Offline? Welcome in. Exits with no output. One computer guy, thank you for the tier 3 resub. Time surely flies when you're learning something every stream. Glad to hear it, one computer guy. Thanks for being here. Do I need to pass the dash dash config? No, I don't. Or do I? Maybe I do. We should do it with dash dash verbose. "10 minutes has passed. Can you believe that? Since the last time my break timer popped up? I mean, I shouldn't get mad at the breaks. It's just we need to take breaks. At least here's the thing. So if you're wondering, and Adam MC, thank you for the raid. Welcome in, Raiders. What were you working on? But if you're wondering why I'm taking such a small break, they're called micro breaks because it's to prevent repetitive strain injuries. And Bloated Dingback, thank you for. No, you cannot give me bits on every break. Please don't do that. Oh, your Twitch staff, that's awesome. Thank you for the raid. What were you working on though? Android dev doing a esports app. Nice. Followed by a watch party. Wait, is the our Rocket League? Is that what's happening? Is that happening right now? But thank you for the raid. Thank you for bringing your friends over. This is the Coding Garden, otherwise known as Config Garden, because we spend all our time working on configs. And today we're trying to get Lint staged set up. So basically, right now, I have one. Oh, it's because I haven't staged it. Maybe that's it. Because the staged version of the file is the old version. Yes! Yes! That was it. It just wasn't staged. Okay. So what we're doing is right now we have some commit hooks that run when things have changed, but it runs for every single file. We only want it to run for the changed files. But that should do it. What are you doing, David? That's too many bits. Thank you for the bits. I very much appreciate it. Let's see if this works now though, because I don't want to have to duplicate myself. I want it to run the type check for TS files and no stage files matched. Okay, is it curly braces? Sick. That's what I want to see. Okay. So, love to see it. Now, let's just double check that we're listing all the possible file types for type checking. You have to stage a file for it to work. Fascinating. Yeah, the thing is, I thought I staged it, but then I forgot that I only had a linter error, not a not a type error. Okay, so svelte files, TS files. I mean, honestly, I guess we can type check JavaScript files too. And CJS files. Is that accurate? TS. Cool. I guess here's the thing. If we tell it to do everything, it'll try to run it on like JSON files, right? I mean, that seems fine. Wait, I can't have two matchers that are the same. I could do double ampersand, but I thought I would want them to run separately, so that way they could run concurrently. Is it an array? Yeah, good call. Thank you, Pudata. So, I mean, honestly, so first of all, let's try it without the function. I don't know why their example had a function. Yeah, so it breaks if we don't have the function, but I think we can do this. So run type check and then run ESLint. Okay, so let's fix the type error. That should maybe because it's running this first, then it doesn't even get to ESLint. But if we fix the type error, now we have a linter error because we have a missing semicolon, and let's see if ESLint catches it. Oh no, well, we need to commit it. We need to stage it. Oof, we keep forgetting to stage it. Now if we run it, yeah, it runs them one after the other, and then fails because of the linter. File ignored by default. Use a negate ignore. Yeah, so and this is what I was worried about. Like, it's passing these JSON files and stuff into ESLint, so we actually do want like a valid matcher. Let's figure out all the things. So we want TypeScript, JavaScript, CJS, Svelte. I mean, we don't have any TSX. We shouldn't have any TSX, but yeah, so I saw that option. I wanted a separate config. Curly braces, thank you. Are these all the types of files that we care about? TS, JS, Svelte, CJS. Yeah. Right, yeah. Yeah. If the function returns an array, let's see. Because then it could potentially do those. Because I do want them to run in parallel. Because then it's even faster. That didn't seem to work. Yeah, those are all my aliases. If you do exclamation mark dot files, you can see a Git repo that lists all of my aliases out. Yeah, and then that's what we want to see, just that it's not looking at the wrong files. Honestly, I think this is good. It does look like it's running them one after the other, though. Let's... ESLint is the first one? Ask ChatGPT for the solution. See, like, it wasn't running... It does them in order. Task concurrency. By default, it will run tasks concurrently. This means that for every glob, all the commands will be started at the same time. Yeah, so each glob runs one at a time. If you want to run multiple commands for the same set of files, you can use the array syntax to make sure commands are run in order. In the following example, prettier will run for both globs. And in addition, ESLint will run for TypeScript files after it. Yeah, so when if you have the same matcher, it always runs after. It doesn't do it concurrently. Pay extra attention when the configured globs overlap and tasks make edits to files. For example, in this configuration, Prettier and ESLint might try to make changes to the same TS file. Oh yeah, but the way we have our commands, we don't overwrite the files. We only check the files. How? Well, the thing is, it needs to pass them into both. Yeah. Well, so here's what's happening. Like, Lint stage is finding all of the files that match this, and then they're passing it to this command and this command as individual arguments. Also, that's not verbose. How do we get verbose output? Show task output, even when the tasks succeed. I want to see what files it matches. Break. Another 10 minutes. See, time flies. You can see my mouse. I almost clicked skip. Oof. Is there a debug? Yeah, there is a debug. That's a lot of information. Yeah, so it says it matched 2 files, which would be the config file we're working on. And David, thank you for the bits. Appreciate you. And Bloated Knickknack, thank you. Are you going to give me bits every time I take a break? This is very verbose, arguably too verbose. Here we go, our file list. Commands ESLint with these 2 files. And then, yeah. Honestly, it's not the end of the world, because if the type check fails, then what's the point of even running the linter, right? Right? I'm gonna keep it this way. Cool. Excuse me. Also, we can time it. Let's time it. So whenever it starts running ESLint, so 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. It's about half the amount of time because it only had to run it on a single file. Cool. I'm happy with this. I think we gotta move on. we can't work on this all day. So this is good enough for now. And now what we'll do, instead of running it manually, we'll update our pre-commit hook. So instead of running type check and lint separately, we can run npx lint dash staged. Yeah, I'll create a separate branch. But we wanted to error out, so let's let it error out on an ESLint thing. And then if we try to commit with a bad commit, it should only do this, fail, and the commit didn't run. Beautiful. But if we commit with a good commit, yeah, they say just don't do it. And I think I agree with that, because if this fails, there's no point in running the other one. So I think we're good there. Yeah, seems fine. I'm happy with this. It only took us 30 minutes. We're going to check out a branch. Set up lint staged. I guess the other cool thing about that is if we make a documentation change, like we don't change any TypeScript files or anything like that, then it doesn't even have to run the type checker or the linter. I think that's the other cool thing. And then for my commit message, I should use the issue number. So what's the issue number? 75? Set up lint staged. Right? Does that seem good? Oh, and then it runs the tests. Yes. Do we want to? Hmm. There's no real way to say if the test should run or not. So I think we're good there. Um, cool. Cool. Um, the developer experience is just getting so much better. All right, we'll make the PR. Um, run type check and linter only on staged files. What did we change? We changed the pre-commit hooks. We added our lint stage RC and we added the lint stage dependency. That looks good to me. Better. Look, it takes half the amount of time to run the type check in the linter. So, good to go. All right, let's check out the main branch. Pull those changes into main and keep on cooking. Let's see what happened over here. Yeah, so it nice. So when because that pull request had the this is actually cool to see. So because our commit message, this is a thing that GitHub does. So because our commit message says fix number 75, automatically when that PR gets merged in, it automatically closes this issue and moves it to the done column. So that's pretty slick. All right, now let's write some actual code. We're gonna handle the offloading state. So actual code. Yeah, so lint stage in our application, we don't run prettier because we only run ESLint, but ESLint runs prettier along with it. So by running ESLint, we're also essentially running prettier. So we don't have to run them separately. That's the other setup that I like about this, because you'll see in a lot of apps that get set up with ESLint and prettier, like technically we do have a separate prettier task, but you actually don't need it. If you only need to run ESLint, and that covers everything. So, all right. Now let's write some code. So, like I mentioned, when you click this button, nothing happens. When you click this button, svelte get is not defined. Let's restart the app. That's GitHub projects. It's just built into GitHub. It's new features. Take 4. Oh, great. Now we just have to wait. Why are there type errors? Okay, I think that was just SvelteKit spinning up. There we go. Okay, so you see it takes a split second before we get redirected, so I want to show a loading spinner. And then when we click log out, it takes a split second before we're actually logged out. So I want to show a loading spinner for that. Now, I'm curious if the helpers for SvelteKit include any sort of loading state. So popping up OAuth in a separate window is possible, but then you have to do window communication, where you do like window.postMessage. If it's all in the same browser window, then the redirects just happen and you don't have to do like any sort of like communication between windows. Reference. SvelteKit. And then they have sign in and sign out, which comes from the client. But do they give us loading? Let's see. Yeah, they've had solid start for a while. All right. On our homepage, we have the sign in function. Yeah, they just have sign in, sign out. But how will we know? How will we know that something is happening? So when they click the button, run loading once. I guess technically, we could just set a loading variable right here because this sign in does the redirect. So we could do something like this. We do the sign in, and then we say loading is true, and we'd have to set some loading variable. All right, this is my 10-minute break timer. I don't want to break for 10 minutes. We just started writing some actual code. So I am going to sing a song for 1 minute, and then we'll keep coding. So let's set a 1-minute timer. I need to turn off my noise canceling filter. Okay, we'll do 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Imploded Knickknack, thank you for the bits. He says positive reinforcement. I don't want to take a full 10-minute break. I just can't. Look, it's bad for retention on Twitch. People leave, you know? We'll compromise and we'll say 4. Oh, glad to hear it, Bursini. Wait, did I just miss another support? Okay, it was bloated Knickknack, thank you. Let me tune my ukulele. We'll do the coding garden intro, see how much time we have left. Hello, hello friends, and welcome to Coding Garden with CJ. Oh, hello friends, and welcome to Coding Garden with CJ. We're gonna grow our coding skills one day at a time. We're not afraid to make mistakes or fall out of line. We're gonna break things down, build them back up. We're gonna learn lots of things. It's gonna be really fun. Well, hello friends, and welcome to Coding Garden with CJ. Oh, hello friends, and welcome to Coding Garden with CJ. That was a very quick song. Here, let's actually do this. Let's thank you, David. Thank you for the bits. Let's have ChatGPT write a song for us. Write a song about how we set up Lint staged in our SvelteKit app. I've got a SvelteKit app, and I want to make sure it's top-notch. So I need to set up Lint stage to catch any errors in my code. That doesn't rhyme. That doesn't rhyme. We'll sing the chorus. Lint stage, help me keep my code in check. Lint stage, make sure my app is error-free. This is hilarious. Like, it knew to talk about Husky and stuff like that. I install Husky and Lint stage, configure them in my package.json or separate config file, and my desired linting rules, and now I'm ready to go. Lint stage, help me keep my code in check. Lint stage, make sure my app is ever free. That's enough of that. But this will be our anthem. This has to be on Spotify. Thank you, Turdinate. Appreciate you. That was more rap style? I mean, if you want the lyrics, there they are. 11 viewers go. No, see, we like that's what I'm saying. We I lose viewers when I take breaks. So none of this rhymes. Let's okay, well, here's the thing. Do it again, but make sure it rhymes. The outro is pretty good. Well, thanks to Lint Stage, my code is clean, and my app runs like a dream. I'm glad I set it up with ease. Now my SvelteKit app is a breeze. Oh, these are, okay, this rhymes. I'm working on my SvelteKit app to make sure it's top-notch, no gaps. I set up Lint Stage with a snap to catch errors in my code, no mishaps. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Some low quality, right? Look, it tried its best. All right, back to it. We want some loading state. So when we click the sign in button, we're going to set loading to true. Loading is just going to be a variable that starts off as false. And then we need some loading spinner that we display on top of the page. Now, yeah, I think that's the other thing is we need to, or we should disable the button. So if we don't use an arrow function, then we can use this. Is that accurate? Disabled. True. Login, click. Navigating? Well, the tricky part is I don't think this is a navigation when we click sign in, it's a redirect. When we click log out, I think that is a navigation. And so when we click the button, we only want it to run one time, so they can't click the button more than twice because it's going to redirect them. All right, let's just see what happens with this, and then we can set up like a loading spinner. So now when we click the button, it disables, and then we redirect. That's a much better user experience because at least they can't click the button twice. But we also want to show a loading spinner. Honestly, we should show a loading spinner in the button. Let's look at Skeleton and see if they have an example of like a loading button. So this is what we're using for our UI kit. Let's see. Progress bars, spinners. Yeah, I think that makes sense, Veep. Maybe we'll tap into navigating in the layout and then show loading whenever we're navigating. Progress radials. Maybe we just throw a progress radial inside of the button. Indeterminate is like this. A DIY spinner? No. So we could just do something like a little if statement right here. So if loading is true, else if loading is true, show progress radial. And we need to import progress radial from skeleton. Yeah, so if we're loading, show progress, otherwise show the text. Let's see what that looks like. Nice. we broke it. I don't know if we need... let's do this. Let's not navigate just to see it. That was nice. So, I don't know if we need to set like some width and height or something like that. I like it. I mean, we could hide the button and just show, I mean, first of all, what does it look like if it's just on the page? Nothing. I put it below the button and I don't see it. So, I mean, I at least want to see it on the page. That's one of the issues. Break, quick break. It said I could pass the value as undefined, and that makes it indeterminate. Yeah, I think I missed it earlier, but somebody asked why am I taking breaks? Everyone should take breaks. Absolutely everyone. If you don't take breaks, you're going to burn out at some point. And everyone needs breaks. It gives time for your brain to process. It makes sure that you're not overworking yourself. So thank you, Bloating. 95 bits. Cool. All right. Well, I do want to show a loading thing. I haven't seen it yet, American 2050. I'll have to take a look in a second. Well, it says you can do either. It's possible we're just missing some styles. Yeah, because I don't even see it. And thank you for that Prime, Nicky Poo. Appreciate you. Figure progress radial. I guess I need to give it some width and height. Class name? There it is. So yeah, you have to give it a width and height. Excuse me. Oh, let me turn my noise canceling on too. Yeah, it's weird that they don't tell us that in the docs. Oh well. So we probably want it to be like a little bit bigger. This big. I thought we upgraded. That's what I like to see. Though it's changing the width of the button. Maybe we want to set a min width. Let's see what the calculated width of this button is. 200 pixels. All right, let's look at what are the various widths in Tailwind. So we can do a min width of 48 on the button. Min width. Oh, and then you have to specify the pixel amount. Can I not do like this? Well, I don't like that, but I guess that's fine. Cool. Let's also reduce the size a little bit because it's changing the height of the button. That's the user experience we want. Set the button text with visibility hidden. But then we'd have to, yeah, that's probably better because then it maintains the size of the button. But we would have to absolutely position the loader on top of the text. Um, oh, it has a stroke property. Nice. Does it need a number? Yeah. 80. 80. 2,000. Look at it. 200? No, let's do 100. Cool. Change the text to please wait. I mean, we could change the text to logging in. So let's do that. We're going to create a new text token called logging in. And this is over in our internationalization stuff. So in English, we will set some text for logging in. So the button before we click it says sign up with YouTube. Should we say? I think honestly we should say log in with YouTube, right? Because no matter what, we're going to be sending them to YouTube, like that. So I like log in with YouTube, and then we'll say logging in, and then we need a little bit of margin left on the radial, just to separate it a little bit, like that. Calling Google. Should we say logging into YouTube? Log in with YouTube. Logging in with YouTube. Logging into YouTube. Logging in with YouTube. You're right. It is Google, but eventually we might ask for the scope to get their YouTube subscriptions and stuff like that. I honestly I do like please wait. Please wait is better. Yeah, I like please wait, and then you can't click the button anymore. This is the way to go. Okay. Please wait. Then we get back over here. And then now we also want to do a similar thing in the nav bar. So let's do that. Hold up. Wait a second. So in the nav bar, when you click this log out button, and so we want to be consistent in our, oh wait, we're not using translation. We should be using translation right here. Who wrote this code? Might have been me. But yeah, we need it was me. But that's why I said it because it could have been Oscar because Oscar did help with this feature. Yeah, and then is navigating. Yeah, navigating is another thing that we're gonna use. So we're gonna use loading or navigating. Oh wait, no. So actually, yeah. And is it bad that I want to put this in line? An unloved slug. Thank you for the 19 months. Here's what we do. When the button is clicked, sign out. But before that, loading is true. And this dot enabled disabled is true. And we also only do this once. Yeah, honestly, if we do e.target, then we can get the event, and then we don't have to do this dot, and we can use an arrow function. So if I do this, then this is event.target. Event.event target? Dot current? What the heck? What is this? Mouse event event.current target. There we go. Current target. Current target. Yeah, and if you're wondering, yeah, the whole reason I made it a function instead of an arrow function is so I could do this dot. But I do agree that this is a bit more clear as to what's happening. Okay, I'm gonna put it into a variable then. Sign out click. And then over here, sign out click is that. But the issue is when I pull it into a separate variable, I need to tell it what the event type is. So this is mouse event and event target and HTML button element. Is there no type I can reuse here? Break. It's break time. Break time. Yeah, we need to change the text to say something else, but make this a mouse event. But then there's no current target. And then we'd have to do this, and we have to say current target is an event target. And it's also an mouse event doesn't have it for whatever reason. This is why I wanted to define it inline so we don't have to like manually type it, but it's fine. It's fine. Now this goes here. And then we actually want to use some some translation. We need to use translation in here. Oh, Corpse, thank you for the raid. Welcome in. What were you working on? Corpse. Oh, Corpse. A little bit of coding in JavaScript. Nice. Thanks for bringing your friends over. We're working in a SvelteKit app, and right now we're trying to make it so that when we click this button, it disables and shows like a little loading spinner. But one thing we're going to do real quick is we're going to use our internationalization library, because right now we just have plain text, and we want to pull that in from the internationalization because this app will be translated. So right here, I can say ll dot. We'll create a message for it. So we'll call this log out. Here's the thing. Let's rename this one to log in. And then log out just says log out. Because you want to be consistent. If you're gonna say sign in and sign up, be consistent, sign in, sign up. But if you're gonna say log in, then say log out. So we're using the terminology log in and log out. Okay. Now, did that actually fix this? Yeah, so the auto rename did not did not go through this svelte variable. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time with words. Log in. Yeah, and then I like this being... I mean, do we call it please wait? I guess we'll call it please wait. Okay. We're closer. Now let's use the loading variable. So similar logic is over here. Inside the button. Log out, please wait. There we go. That's what we want to see. Now, this could very likely be its own component, right? We could actually call it like a loading button. Yeah. Please wait suggests that you can reuse it. I mean, we can reuse it because this seems like we could use this in other sections of the app. We could also call this like loading or something like that. Is it okay to ask our users to please wait? I think we're good. This is the behavior that I wanted. Because now it's clear as to what's happening. I think I'm happy with this. I agree this should be login YouTube. Because we potentially will add other login providers in the future. I think loading is a better name as the text please wait could be changed at any time. Redirecting to YouTube. I think at this point we actually don't need the min width on the button anymore though. Yeah. Should we intentionally slow it down? Maybe. So, we could even do it for sign in. So we could set a timeout here. Half a second, then do the redirect. And then over here, similarly, half a second, then do the sign out. Even worse. Look. I mean, it visibly shows people that things are loading. See, instead of like flashing really quick. Let's make it 5 seconds. Not a fan. we're working very hard to sign you out. So here's the other thing. If it takes too long, technically, like you can click around to other pages, which you probably don't want to be able to do. All right, I'm gonna get rid of the timeout. It feels wonky. We're gonna call it on this feature here. So let's this is at this point we're gonna commit, and our lint stage should actually work now. So say sparkles. Which number does this fix? We're on a branch. We are on the offloading branch. Number 71. Add offloading states. Type check. Linter. Tests. The main branch is technically protected, but I'm the only person with write privileges to the repo, so I can override the main branch if I want to. But all right, this is 2 PRs we handled today, so we're making progress. Cool. We got the PR. We updated some of our English translations. The internationalization types got updated. And then we have that button, and we have that. Seems fine. The CI test failed? No way. No way. Let's wait for him. The test command is only running the integration test. It's not running the unit test. We don't have any unit tests yet. So while that's running, we'll look at these discussions people are mentioning. Number 82? Yeah. So I lint locally and I lint on GitHub, but the whole reason I do this is because if someone new opens a PR, I'm not even going to look at the PR unless the checks have passed. So obviously this is like double work because it had to do it locally for me and it had to do this. Like I could skip it. It's fine. We'll let them run. I turned off checking without reviews. What does that mean? Oh, I do. Yeah. So so the checks passed. Um, so it runs the type check, the linter, and the tests. All that good stuff. Let's merge it. And then this should close this issue and move it to done. Break. Quick break. Hey, so it moved it. So it's closed. It got merged in. I should be deleting all these extra branches too. All right, let's look at the workaround. So right now, we brought in an icon pack. So if you look on the home page, we brought in this icon thingy, and we wanted to show it inside of the homepage button. But right now, when we bring in that dependency, it isn't doing any tree shaking, so it takes forever for the initial page load to run. Still taking time. Finally, it's there, and now we get the button. So apparently there is a fix where you can import the specific one. Oh, but then we don't get type checking. Let's see. Seems fine. Oh, it doesn't know about its props, though. Yeah, it just spreads the props, but we don't get type completion about the props. It's not the end of the world. That should fix it, though. So we kill the app. And then try visiting it. Instant, right? Instant. So that's nice, but we do lose type checking. So, oh well, no, it knows what size is now. That should throw a type error. And when we import this one, that throws a type error. So, yeah, okay. So, your suggestion also it's good enough because yeah, I mean we're not using that many icons, and I think eventually the library will fix itself. So like writing code that way will still work. So, oh, I forgot what our props were. Honestly, good enough for now. It at least starts up instantly. 2 seconds, easy. Okay. And then what you were saying is alias that to there. Yeah, I'm not opposed to that. So that'll make the imports easier. Oh, implicitly has any type. I'm not about to fix the types for this library. We potentially could though. Like if we find the type definitions in there, we could like map them to the icons directory. Am I on the wrong branch? Um, should we change to another library? But the alias, the way of adding the alias would be in here. So we could say um, tabler is not that, is this path here. Like that. Git stash pop took the stuff that I just stashed and put it onto the code, which is basically just this little change here. Unable to resolve path to module. Did I do that right? Oh, I probably got to reference node modules. Well, basically, I made changes when I was on the wrong branch, so I needed to uh, put those changes somewhere while I got to the right branch. So it's git stash, put them in like a little pile, and then when I got to where I needed to be, popping took those changes and applied them to the place that I'm at now. It's usually a command you only use locally. Um, cool. And this should just complain about unable to resolve path of module. Mm, the thing is, I don't think I think. Oh no. Oh no. What have I done? What was I gonna say? It should still run. TS TypeScript already knows about it. Okay. Yeah, I don't care enough to fix this right now. So, uh, we're gonna go back to this, and then in the future we'll think about just potentially adding a different icon library. I don't have the time. But the issue is now we potentially have to TS ignore this. Yeah. But now it's like, hey, that's the any type. And um mm, then we're like, hey, that's not the any type. Um Come on! I know there's a code action. Um I don't know why my linter isn't. Import as? That's probably the better fix. But this would be really cumbersome, but check it. So if we do this, well, no, but then, okay, but if we import the type, does it still have to cache everything? Let's see. Let's see. Um, beat config line 12. Oh, that's the issue. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm not going to fix it. Jaguar, thank you for the gift. Appreciate you. Uh, This is a hot mess. So here's what we do. We just delete all icons and we uninstall the library. And in another day, we'll find another icon library. it's too much work. My homies hate icons. I mean, I don't hate icons. I don't want to have to deal with it. Um, and we could find another library that probably works fine. Oh, I mean, honestly, we spent probably like 20 or 30 minutes one stream just looking at a few different libraries, and we settled on that one because it had all the icons we thought we would need, like all the brand icons, like Discord and YouTube and stuff like and Twitch. But break time, quick break. All right, I'm pushing directly to main on this one. Nice, directly to main. What next? Yeah, let's work on this. Create an environment loader. So right now, in our code base, we have process dot, not process.env. We can look in the server hooks to see how we're bringing in environment variables, like this. Env static private. So how many places are we doing this? We're doing it here because we're bringing in those two things. And that's it. that's the only spot that we're bringing in environment variables. There's got to be others, right? Oh well, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna make it so that we have a single place that we bring the environment variables in from, and we validate the schema to make sure that all of them exist. But actually, SvelteKit, here's the thing, SvelteKit already does that for us. So like, if you give me a second, let me remove something from my .env. Yeah, so I just removed Google Client Secret from my .env, and now we actually get a type error, and all of this is handled by SvelteKit. Yeah, I think I still want a schema validator though. We'll add a schema validator. So let me put that value back. Okay. We want to run type checks. Yeah, so we can make sure that I mean, everything's a string that's coming from our environment variables, but doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Here we go. Let's work on it. I will say, Kubajiro has opened a PR that does a lot of stuff, but I'm actually just going to be doing some of this stuff on my own so you can see how I would do it. But in their PR, they did a similar thing. They essentially define a Zod schema. And Eddie, thank you very much for the gift. Appreciate you. So they define a Zod schema, and then they load the environment variables into it. And when the app starts up, they validate the environment variable. So if any are missing, then Zod would throw an error and stop the app from starting. So this is basically what we're going to set up. Here we go. So in lib, I'm going to create a file called config. And do we already have Zod as a dependency? Let's see. We don't. So we're going to install Zod. And if you're not familiar with Zod, it is a object schema validator. So for instance, you can define a schema and then pass something into it, and it will validate it and throw an error. It'll also generate TypeScript types for you. So this right here will actually infer a type, so an object type with a username property that is a string. So you define it here, you get a TypeScript type, and you get a validator that you can pass stuff into. Very similar to Yup, but with good TypeScript support. I think Yup technically has TypeScript support, or is it Joy? But you can look on their page. They talk about Zod and how it compares to some other schema validation libraries. Missing object methods, promise schemas, function schemas, and union and intersection schemas. So there's some type things you might not be able to do with Yup that you can do with Zod. Regardless, here we go. We're going to use Zod. Let's check out a branch. Make sure I have all the latest stuff. I do. Cool. And then we're going to install Zod. Great. Now that we have it, we'll import it. Wait, can't I do this? Z.object. A boolean? What the heck's in a boolean? Z.object. Yeah, so I can define my object schema. And basically what I want to do is I want to grab all of the things we have in our environment variable. So here in our environment variable example file, these are all the things that should exist. So I'm going to throw these in here and create some validators for them. So most all of these are going to be a z.string that can't be empty, minimum length of 1. Something like this. How do I feel about this? I'm okay with this. And then we can grab the type. So we'll say type config is z.infer the type of config. Like this. We'll export both of those. What's the error here? No read declare. Yeah, it's okay to redeclare a thing in TypeScript. Alias name config Pascal case. Capital C config? I don't like it, but that's okay. I guess that's fine. Honestly, no, here's what we do. So this is the config schema. And then the actual config will be by parsing the environment variables. So Google, no, all of these are strings. All of these are strings. Yeah, I'm okay with that. So like, can't be empty white space too. But for example, in here, instead of importing from that, we're going to pull this import over here. Import all the things that we need. All of these. I think there is a keyboard shortcut to put the thing on the end of each line, but this is fine. So we import all the ones from our environment variable there, and then we have our config, which is going to be z.parse, or sorry, not z, config schema .parse sync. So we want it to throw an error, just parse. and we pass in an object that has all of those things. Yeah. So if we do import star, let's look at the type here. Can I just pass this in here? Well, I'm gonna hide my screen, but I'm gonna see if this will work. So now that I've defined this validator in here, I'm gonna import it in here. Quick stretch. Yeah, our stack is SvelteKit, TypeScript, Prisma, and Postgres. So we're gonna import lib/config. Import config from there. Osiron, thank you for the prime. You seem new here. I don't recognize your name. You are. Welcome in. Appreciate you. What's up, Transiner? Welcome in. Okay, so we pulled in config, and then now we use it. So all the places where we were doing this, we can now say config dot, and then we get some nice type completion, like that. So that should be good. Let's see if this works, though. I don't know if this import star as environment actually works to pull all of the stuff in. And then I can use safe parse because there might be some extra properties on there. So we'll do that. Now, let me see if this is doing what we expect it to do. It worked. But I forgot that it gives us back data and success. Can I do a top level await? Yeah, appreciate that, Siron. Because here's the issue. This does not throw an exception. It gives us back the data and if there was an error. But I want it to throw an exception. Like I literally want my app to throw an error. So yeah, I think I can use top level await in here. Or if I do safe parse dot strict. E-Shark, thank you for the resub. Well, when I did parse, I don't think it threw an error because it gave me back. I mean, I can't show you because it's leaking my environment secret and stuff. But let me just confirm what I'm seeing here. So, if I do that, this gives me back. Wait, what was I doing different earlier? And then let me try. I did safe parse. Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense. Let me just remove something from my .env and see if that breaks it. Yeah. I think I did safe parse because I was worried that importing star from environment would have too many properties, but apparently it doesn't. So this is all we need. If we just do parse, that will throw an exception if something is missing. And then we get back our config. So that's it. That's all. Now DB port, we can do something like coerce into a number. So that way we can pass a string. And we can set a default of 5432. Yeah. What does strict do? So this is what happens if you're missing an environment variable. The app just crashes, like it won't even start up. I need to invoke coerce. I don't think I do. Oh, I thought it didn't allow extra fields by default. All right, let me see if this works now. Yeah. We don't want strict because that because there's a bunch of other stuff on environment. This is what I was worried about. Is this okay to show? I think this is okay to show. Maybe. I'm going to show it anyways. All of these other variables exist on my environment. And it's pulling those in, and then the Zod validator is crashing with strict, which is why before I manually had to import each of the things that I wanted to use. Honestly, I think I prefer that. Because that way, anytime a new environment variable is added, you will have to put it in the schema and import it from the environment. I'm going to do that. Yeah, so that's what it was doing. It's pulling in every single thing. And I only specifically want these. And then I can also manually pass these in over here. Some people might say this is too much duplication, but I prefer it because now, if you want to add a new environment variable, you need to import it, add the validator, and pass it into the parse. I guess you're right. If we remove strict, then that actually was working. Give me a second to ponder on this, right? Because if we import star, I guess in that case, the only thing you would have to change if you want to use a new value is you would need to add it to the config schema. I don't think we'll do a coloring break today. Okay, you convinced me. We remove strict. We pass it in here. And now, if you want a new config variable, all you got to do is add the validator, and you can use it everywhere else. Yeah. You have 8 gigabit connection? That's pretty cool, Duder. This is a svelte thing. I think so. There's something you can do in yeah. So I think that's what we're gonna go with. Or Pete. I'll call you Pete because I'll call you P. That's what we're gonna do. And then we basically have a rule in the code base that you never import directly from here. You always, if you want to use something, you need to import this config file. The other thing I want to do is I want to make sure that client-side components don't import this. I don't think they could, honestly, because it accesses this, but I do believe there's a way. The app should work now. Yeah, app works now. But I do believe there's a way in SvelteKit where you can just be really clear that this file should not be imported into client components. Server only modules. Like a good friend, SvelteKit keeps your secrets. The env static private and env dynamic private modules, which are converted in the module section, can only be imported into modules that run on the server. Oh, okay. Honestly, I guess that covers it then, because honestly, we should rename this to server config, because eventually we might have some client-side configs. So if we call this server config, then later on we could have one that pulls in client-side configs. This project's going to take years. Why would you say that? I'm trying my best, you know? I'm trying to get things done, you know? I feel like we're getting stuff done today. Oh, I like that. config.server.ts. And then we can just export config, because we're literally importing it from a server file. So now over here, config gets imported from config server. Great. But check this out. If I attempt to import this into a Svelte component, let's try to do that and see if it yells at us. Config.auth secret. Let's see if this gets rendered on the homepage. It does get rendered, but it throws an error. Cannot import into client-side code. Leaked. I mean, this is auto-generated. I can regenerate it. Maybe Pete. No restricted imports. Yeah, let's try it, because then we can restrict that specific one, the env private. So we'll restrict this import in the linter, and then we'll disable it here, but you shouldn't be able to disable it anywhere else. Yeah, I think, but honestly, here's the real test. If I do npm run build, the build should fail. Ideally, yeah, like this. So it won't even build because I'm trying to import it into a client component. So I think Svelte is working on our behalf. And basically, if I wanted to expose some of that data, I would need to import it into like the page server file or layout server file, and then expose it as like page props. What were we doing? Linter. We're going to add a new rule. No restricted imports. And we're going to pass in this. All right, so now this complains. It's like, hey, import is restricted from being used. We will disable it in this file, but anywhere else where somebody tries to import, it's going to give them a linter error, and then they can just read the contributing guide to know that they need to import from here. Is good. Thank you for that tip, Pete. All right. What we'll also do is we'll update the contributing guide to let people know that they need to import environment variables from the config file. Set up your environment, set up the database, Prisma setup, client credentials, run the project, making changes, code style guides, linter formatter. Oh, we could do a minimum length for auth secret. Yeah, we could think about more specific validators too. Environment variables. All environment environment variables should only be accessed from lib/config.server.ts. If you need access to a new environment variable, add it to the schema in that file. What's up, Ashley? Welcome in. Server environment variables. Server environment variables should only be accessed from that, period. If you need access to a new environment variable, add it to the schema in that file. Do not import directly from instead of saying that file, I'll say this. Add it to the schema in here. All right. That looks good to me. Auth secret, we could set like a minimum length of 10 or something like that. I was thinking about that, Oscar. Let's do it. Because technically, I do believe I can do this. Source. Ooh. Lib. config.server.ts, like this. Yeah. Server environment variable should only be accessed from that file. Do not import directly from env static private. If you need access to a new environment variable, add it to the schema in that file. Beautiful. Let's look at auth.js to see if they have any recommendation on the length of the auth secret. Well, length 32? Well, that page works. Okay. Good documentation. Configuration options secret. Yeah, I mean they're generating, I think, one that's length 32. So minimum length of 32. I think this looks good. I'm happy with all this. Honestly, I don't know if it would be interpreted as a valid URL because it is a it has a protocol. Postgres://. Let's see. Let's see if we do a URL. No, I've seen various length client IDs and client secrets. I'm not worried about validating those because people will follow the steps to at least get it right, get the correct one. Doesn't complain. Let me try making it not a URL and see if it complains. Yeah. It's good to know. So yeah, the URL validator inside of Zod just validates URLs. They don't have to be HTTP or whatever. They just need a protocol and then like a domain, all that kind of thing. So the URL validator works on database URLs too, which is cool. Nice. Is there anything we're missing here? We've got the validator, we're pulling it in, we're parsing it, we're using it. Let's see, let's make sure that we're not importing from this anywhere else. Yeah, that's the only place we're importing it. I think we should be good. Let's look at Kubajiro's contribution. Because they also implemented this. Let's see if they added anything we didn't think about. What advice do I give to a junior dev looking for work? Don't stop. Try your hardest. Your job right now is to find a job. And practice all the things. So practice answering the question, tell me about yourself. Practice answering, why do you want to work here? Tell me about a project you've worked on. There's a lot of things you should be practicing every day for your interviews, and apply everywhere and to anything. Don't be picky, and don't be picky about interviews either, especially if you don't have a lot of interviewing experience. If you get an interview from a company that you don't necessarily want to work at, you should still interview there just for practice, so you can because interviewing itself is a skill that's actually very different from the work that you're going to be doing or the things that you learned to be a developer. So that's my advice. Finding a job is a job, so treat it like one, and practice and don't stop. Okay, so Kubajiro added another environment variable for color scheme. I don't think we need to do that yet. But yeah, look at that. They basically did the same thing. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So Solida says, I feel like giving up. I made so many apps and I have 500 plus applications. I think like the other piece is like, if it's been months already and you've been applying places and you're not getting any callbacks, something's wrong. Maybe there's something off on your portfolio. Maybe there's something off on your resume. Maybe there's something off on the kinds of positions that you're applying to. There's something that can potentially be fixed. And the only way to know that is to try and get feedback somewhere. There are various communities online where they'll give you like resume feedback. They'll do like mock interviews and stuff like that. So, yeah, you ask someone you know or somebody in the community to review your stuff. Yeah. Do I think interviewing people helps when you go to interviews? Probably, but I think the issue is everyone interviews differently, right? Right? No, I think we're gonna commit this. This is good. I'm happy with this. This fixes number 84. I like our lint staged. I forget who it was that if anybody remembers who suggested adding lint stage last time, I like it. I like it. Yeah, and that's a good point to make sure I turn up. I think if you're interviewing at a place with a compassionate interviewer, they do their best to try to separate like what is making you nervous or like why you're not interviewing well, from in the actual interview. Because I mean most interviewers, I mean I guess I don't know if it's most, but a lot of interviewers like myself when I was interviewing people, I wanted to do everything I could to like help the person remove the nerves. I wanted to do everything I could to make them feel like it's just another day on the job, right? Because that's when I'm going to get the most accurate interpretation of how they're going to be when I'm working with them. Because it is tricky. People have anxiety, people get nervous, and they act completely differently in the interview than they would on the job. So Good interviewers try everything they can to make people comfortable so they can see the real person that they're interviewing. Um, yeah, and I guess that can happen too, Hugo, right? Because like not only are people applying a bunch of places, interviewers are interviewing a lot of people. So um, yeah, it can be tricky. Yeah, so we have a find a pair channel in our Discord. I don't know if people are, and there's also I think we have like a career advice channel, so you could potentially ask for resume feedback in there. Honestly, you might even just ask in the help forum because that way you there's a thread of like people reviewing your stuff. Cool. Yeah, local tech meetups for sure. Yeah. No, I haven't used TRPC on stream before. I've tried it in some personal projects. It's cool. Though, I was looking more into Zadios, and I'm more and more convinced that this is the way to go. Because it's similar to TRPC, but it gives you open API documentation and has like an open API client generator. So if your client app is not a TypeScript app, you can still have good type information in the open API schema. Um, and this basically just structures the way you write your Express app. Like they have API builders and router builders. And yeah, so this one uses Zod as well. Um, Basically, you have a Zod validator for your query parameters, for the request body, the response body, error responses, success responses. You basically create a Zod validator for all of the possible things coming in and out of your API. And then all of those Zod validators are turned into JSON schema that's used in an open API specification. Um, so basically, you build it out, and then uh, the document that you get back can be passed into like Swagger UI, and then now you have a like documentation for your API. Now, I will mention there are some community packages for TRPC that do Open API, um, like this one, TRPC Open API. Um, but it just feels like you're using TRPC. It's like you're forcing the usage of it because basically the way this library works is like once you add it, any route that you want to expose over Open API, I think you have to do you have to add meta. You have to add meta to tell it what the path is and the method. So it's a little bit more cumbersome. It seems like this package would be good if you already have an existing TRPC API that you want to have Open API documentation for, but Zadios kind of like does it all in one. I don't know. Yeah, yeah. I mean, the T3 stack and TRPC are all real hot right now, for sure. But um, I just started looking because I've up until a couple of days ago I'd only seen like the homepage for Zadios. Uh, an excavator, thank you for the 26 months. He says, "How you doing? I'm doing good. I'm doing good." And Auto Magic with the resub as well. Appreciate you. Okay, our test pass. Let's merge this thing in, and then what? We're getting stuff done today. That's three PRs merged. Is it anything like gRPC? So gRPC also like is like platform agnostic in that like you can build a gRPC API in many different languages, and then you can have a gRPC client in many different languages as well. Whereas TRPC just works really well with TypeScript apps. So if your backend is TypeScript and your front end is TypeScript, TRPC would work great, but would potentially start to break down if you want to use like if you want to have an iOS app that talks to your TRPC endpoint. It technically can be done because at the end of the day, the TRPC API is just HTTP, but uh, you don't have the same typed client integration that you would get like in a TypeScript app. Whereas OpenAPI is like a standard for defining APIs, and there are OpenAPI, or sorry, gRPC is another thing. So it's also a standard, and they have client generators. So if you build your backend with gRPC, you could generate a TypeScript client, or generate a Python client, or generate a C# client. So gRPC is really good when you when not everything is TypeScript. I think it uses protobuf. Yeah, I believe it's a Google thing. And then the alternative to that would just be, does TRPC use protobuf? I don't know the details. Does it? Probably. Maybe. There's nothing on there. We're about to be too productive. Listen, I'm doing my best right now to get as much done as possible. All right, let's look at the board. Yeah, so that got closed. We've got the right to left internationalization stuff. Let's look at some of the other issues that are open too. What's up, programmer Jeff? Welcome in. And hey, Pablo, stream's going good. We're getting stuff done. It's happening. I will say, so there's this PR from Limotes that has had a ton of activity, like comments from everyone and thoughts and ideas on how to do an SEO component for setting like the title and the description. I think we settled on something good. So basically, we have a store where you can put the title in the description. And Ciavoro, thank you for the resub. So we've got the store here, and then that can be pulled in anywhere, and anywhere that sets the title or the description would update the meta tag. You can also pull in the SEO component to set the title and the description, or you can do it dynamically using the store. And honestly, it all looks good to me. I think the only thing is we haven't settled on a logo yet, so I don't actually want all of this extra image stuff. I think that's the only thing I'm gonna ask Limotes. Oh, nice, Pablo. That's a lot of seedlings. Let's remove images until we settle on. It's a placeholder, but here's the thing: it's playing favorites because they actually chose that one. I don't want to play any favorites. Pick one and replace it. No, that requires decision. I don't feel like making decisions right now. Yeah. That could work. Just like disabling the extra stuff if we don't need it. I don't want these image URLs in the code base just because we haven't settled on anything yet. Did I run this by the design team? We don't have a design team. Our design team is the UI library that we're using. Okay. Let's potentially do this right to left thing, and also a refactor of the initial hooks.server. But let's do this. Okay, so let's reset our editor and talk about what is going on here. So whenever any request comes into the app, it hits this first. This is like our top level middleware that detects the language of the user requesting the page. Once we detect that locale, we're putting it in the HTML. So is this running? It is. If you look at the source of the HTML, you can see the language is set to English. Let me show a browser with a different language set. So here in Chromium, I set my language to Arabic, and now when we render the page, we actually set the language as AR. So the browser knows that they should expect to see the language Arabic. But we haven't translated stuff yet, but technically these are all using the default English translations because we don't have Arabic translations yet. Arabic translations yet. So the other thing we potentially want to do is add the direction prop, which is what this is saying to do, dir. Because if it's a language that does right to left, right to left, right to left, then we need to specify that in the HTML. So we can do that. We can do that. I'm not opposed to that. So let's check out a branch. And we'll do some codes here. So what they are saying, and Decolors, thank you for the resub. Appreciate you. Not if, we get the direction from the locale. So the locale was detected, and then we use the internationalization API to determine if it determine what the direction is. Does this only work in the browser? You tested it in Node? All right, are we gonna have to like add the type? Let's see if this works. But basically what we need to do is, given the locale that was detected and that we support, we need to know if it's a right to left language. And see if this breaks anything. So it's not adding it. Let me kill it just to make sure. Yeah, it's not adding it. Could be undefined. Yeah. Oh, glad to hear it, Ed. Yeah. And it is cool. We get to collaborate with all kinds of people that are watching. We've gotten a ton of PRs that we've merged in and stuff like that. Oh, we have to. I need to add. You're right. You're right. I need to add it to the HTML. Good call. Good call. Because we're here, we need to do dir. What's up, Exxon? Welcome in. What's up, Roga? Did you miss anything good? Progress? We made some progress. So now we have that template there, and then we're going to be replacing in that template here. So let's see it in action. It works. So right to left, because that's Arabic, and then in this browser, it should do left to right. Great. How can we get the types for this? I think maybe we need to tell the tsconfig the version. We haven't done much more stuff with Auth.js just yet. I will say we did quite a bit of work like customizing the Auth.js session and the Auth.js middleware and stuff like that. I'm curious, do we need to set... Well, see, it's targeting ES Next. Intel? ES Next Intel? See if that fixes it. Still doesn't like it. TypeScript into locale. Quick stretch. Um, I don't want to override the type. I feel like it should just work, right? Text info does not exist on type locale. I told you it wasn't going to be quick, Oscar. I told you. It's never quick. Um, text info dot direction. Copy path. Um, we're just gonna add it to the type. I wish we didn't have to, but um, I mean, it works. Like it works. It's just the type isn't up to date. It doesn't know about that object. Um, so we can define interface locale, and it will have text info, which is an object where direction is either right to left or left to right. Are there any other uh, directions I need to know about? Do I need to extend locale? Up and down? I don't think that's a thing. Is it? Um, so is this in a specific? Um, oh, it's a namespace. Here we go. Is this better? Oh, up and down are a potential option? Is this how I override a namespace? Namespace until locale. Oh no, I guess I would have to import it. I mean, I don't want to have to copy this whole type. Um, locale extends locale options. Time for a long break. It's time to stop. Stop. I'm curious if the typesafe i18n library, if it has a direction detector, and honestly, I'll just use that. I mean, here's the thing: we could TS ignore this, and we would be fine. The more we TS ignore, the more tech debt there is, the more we need to fix it later. I don't want to do that. So let's look at typesafe i18n, which is the library we're using. As string? No, like it doesn't even know that text info exists is the issue. Um, okay, let's just see if they have anything on direction. Flex direction. 4-hour work week? There's no such thing as a 4-hour. I mean, I guess there could be, but there's a 4-day work week, at least that I've heard of. Well, if it isn't Omar 2205, with a discussion open on this library. How do you get the language's direction? Um, you need to do it yourself. Yeah, if you don't know that this is that, it's the same person. Okay, so apparently it's not built into this library. We're not going to work on that. We're going to leave this issue open. This issue is going to stay in the backlog. And we're going to pick one other thing to work on before I go today. Yeah, I mean, I'm done talking about it. But basically, this type is locale, int.locale, and that's an interface. And then it's missing the property text info. So we needed to annotate the type to tell that the text info was an object, and it had a direction property, which is a string. That's just missing from the built-in type for whatever reason. We could do onboarding. I kind of want to search the YouTube API. Our own language library with languages we plan to support. Yeah, I guess that's the other thing is we could put R2L or LTR in our database of locales. Um, to get permissions for onboarding. Oh, but that's if we. So that's also, I think that's down the road too, because that's if we want to actually access their subscribed YouTube channels. I don't think we want to do that. I think what we want to do is when they. We want like a list creation page, honestly. We want to log in. Quick stretch. We want to log in, and now that we're logged in, we want to search YouTube for channels and add them to a list. Do I want to do that? The thing is, I know it's going to take me hours. I know that it's not going to be an easy thing. So, like, what is a and we could work on like the list creation page where you give it like a name and a description of your list. That's true, huh, Ryan? When you're logging in on the site, we got two options. A new screen other than the login. Yeah, but I feel like we should do that on a stream dedicated to it, where we're explicitly working on like creating new lists. Yeah. Next UI is moving from Stitches to Tailwind. I don't even know what Stitches is. Should we pick a logo? The thing is, like, I think I already know which one I'm gonna choose. I feel like I could let you all vote on it, but I think I already know which one I want to choose. So, here are my critiques. That V looks like the V from Vue.js. That V right there. I know it's like slightly not, but that's why I don't think I'm going to choose this one. Ready to act surprise? This one, now I get the idea. So this same idea happened by Amasil, where they're like, well, the standard list icon looks like this, but what if we do a play on that to create like the listed logo? Yeah, I think it comes down to two. So I like this. At the same time, it kind of looks like Figma. Like, what is Figma's? Yeah, it looks like Figma. Like, not quite, but it evokes the idea of Figma because it looks like an F. Yeah. Not even close. I know it's not the same, but it feels like it. Feels like it. Oh, do they have an older logo? Yeah. This one is from Amasil 2. Like I said, this reminds me of like the Opera browser. Like that O. Or like Verizon. I guess it kind of looks like this little check mark in the Verizon logo, but not really. It's a bit more clean than that, but Vivaldi, that's probably it. Yeah. Curious about the trend of naming a company or product with intentional misspelling. It's been happening for years, basically since Web 2.0. Well, I'm not nitpicking. I'm explaining so people don't feel bad. I'm explaining why I'm not choosing those specific ones. But this is a contender. I'm gonna add a thumbs up on it. I don't think I like the pixelated font. So yeah, I want something to look fairly clean. I don't think it's a stretch. It's like a V. It evokes a feeling of like Vivaldi or opera. And then you all know it. I actually really do like this one. And I know some people have said like that looks like a I don't know a V or something like that, but I like that it's like a an italic L, right? So like if you're just writing it out and you have access to italics, you could write our logo basically. Um, well, no, you would we would pick a color, yeah. So like we'd probably go with green because it's Coding Garden, or we go with the red one. We wouldn't use all of them. Um, and then potentially we use red, but yeah, I mean we don't want to cease and desist from YouTube, but oh, how'd you do that shark turn up? Oh, you did mark down. Nice. Exactly. Uh, yeah, I think so. I don't know if Mark Boots is here today, but I think that's one potential critique is like slightly less angle on the L maybe. Um, too many colors in each one. I don't know if I agree with that because it's three colors, so it's your primary color, white and black. Um, this looks like LED. So that's why I don't like that one. And then this is one that I came up, or no, did I come up with this one? Um, so these are some that Oscar came up with, and then I came up with these. One is, listen, they're just D's and lines. That's all it is. Like a big old D with the word list inside of it. And then same idea as like you're evoking the idea of like the standard list icon, but it does look like a thing. Or we just straight up like our logo is literally three dashes. Um, yeah, I could get that. You might say D list instead. Um, I don't. This is more like an iOS icon. I don't think I like that. And then Old English listed. See you later, Jimbo Baggins. Thank you for hanging out. Use AI to generate it. I don't have any credits on Midjourney. Oh, they gave us a Figma file too? Well, that's cool. What if instead of an F, it was actually an L? So what if it was dot dot and then a line for the yellow one? So it's like dot dot line. I could be convinced on that one. It doesn't work. Yeah, rotate it 180 degrees so that it's yellow, red, purple. Can you just show tell can you try it really quick, Amasil, and so I can see what it looks like? Basically, flip this upside down. Yeah, more of an L, less of an F. I do like the solid colors too. But yeah, I'm down I'm between these two. So I'm between this one and Amasil's. This one. Or this one. Flip it in the browser with CSS. Well, it's just an image though. I guess I could rotate it. Yeah. Um maybe like this dot on the left, but then it just looks like a little pyramid. Yeah. Yeah. A right triangle. Well, no, no, no. If you were to push this dot over to the left, then it's like a little bit bigger, longer. So it's like a sideways pyramid. If I choose the, oh, yeah. I'm not gonna choose that one. I'm between this one and the one from Mark Boots. It becomes bottom heavy. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it kind of look, but it does. It's not as fat as the View logo. Yeah, I think we're gonna vote. See, this reminds me of the View logo. It's a little too fat. I will say I do like the rounded square because that like reminds us of YouTube. Um, but let's vote. Thanks for all your ideas. Please don't submit anymore. I have decided it is down to these two. Um, and this one. We would change the color palette, but the idea would be there. What are our emoji reaction options? uh, react to this comment with ta-da to vote for this one. Reacts to this comment with rocket to vote for this one. We'll do a poll in the Twitch chat right now too. Okay. And in the this is number 1, this is number 2. So this could work. So Amasil, if you look at this, I don't know if you tried this. This feels better because it's closer to an L, but I also don't know how I feel about it. I mean, I think one of the cool things we could do though is with like motion graphics, or if we take like the standard 3 lines, and then when the app loads, it animates to be the L, like the two things shrink, you know? So yeah, something like that. Okay, here we go. We're gonna do a poll. Which do you prefer? Number 1, number 2. And I will say it's number 2 with possible variations, because right now, like, it looks like an F. We agree we don't like the F, but if it could look like an L or have some other thing, this would be number 2. So vote now. Yeah, and if you want to vote on the repo itself, I think I can link to this. You can go right here. If you like number 1, emoji react with tada. You can click this and then do tada. Or if you like this one, emoji react with the rocket. Yeah, I think both of these we'll probably try to get some variations, whichever one we choose. This isn't the final form, but I think we're on the right track. Bike shedding or yak shaving? Probably closer to yak shaving. because we're not. Yeah, I think it's more. I think it's more reaction. But this is an important decision because we need an icon for our app. We need to put the logo in the app. Let's see. Yeah, so number 2 is very much ahead. Yeah, number 2 is getting more votes. Oh, thanks, Limotes. Yeah, that could be a quick merge. Wait, don't merge it. Hey, you can vote for your own. I think Mark Boots isn't watching right now though, so it would be a little unfair because they can't vote for their own. Oh, like remove the image, you mean? I think it's fine. We'll just add the image once we're ready. I'll say this right now. I'm not gonna make the decision today. We've basically narrowed it down to these two. We're not gonna get any more submissions, and then we'll go from there. Because I'd like to hear Mark Boots weigh in as well, in terms of like, do they think they could make the L a little less slanted? You're not Mark Boots though. You're Mark 2067. But yeah, I think this looks good, Limotes. I'm gonna merge it. Could have used an empty string. What? For the image, you mean? Oh no, it's fine. We'll just add it in whenever we're ready. It's fine. There are merge conflicts. Uh, uh. Did that resolve it? Let me make sure that these are imported in the right order. Oh, there's audio. I'm just not talking. Just fixing. Um, hmm. Let's make sure the linter and everything passes. All right, the chat has spoken. 26 people voted for Amasil. 15 voted for the one from Mark Boots, which is, so this is Mark Boots, this is Amasil. And then on the GitHub, we've got 9 votes for Mark Boots and 12 votes for Rocket. So this is the overwhelming thing that people prefer. But we still want some changes to it because we agreed that this kind of looks like an F. We want it to look more like an L. But this is good. This is good. I'm glad we got your feedback. I'm still not gonna fully decide. It's gonna take a little bit before I do, but I'm glad I have your feedback. I'm gonna merge this PR from Limeotes, and then I'm gonna call it from there. I'm gonna create a summary of what we did today, and then get on out of here. Feedback? What feedback? Also, so for those of you, I already lost 40 people. But if you're not going to stick around for the summary, definitely follow me over on YouTube. You can join my mailing list. I send out go live notifications and weekly updates. And then we also have a Discord where we hang out, and I also answer questions. So if you had any code questions that didn't get answered today, definitely check out the Discord. And follow me on Twitter. And that's about it. So if you're curious where all the VODs and everything go, if you look at this website, coding.garden/videos, this combines all of the YouTube stuff. So it has YouTube video uploads like this one, YouTube live streams, and things from the archive channel, because the archive channel is where I upload things that didn't happen on YouTube. So if you go to this site, all videos that I've done are accessible and searchable, so you don't have to go to multiple places. So you can check that out too. Okay. It passed. Linter passed. Here we go. It's a big one. It's a big one. I'm glad to hear it, Diamond. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes, it is. That's the other thing, is if you want to know when I'm going to be live again, check out the schedule. The schedule for next week only has the Friday stream, but I'm going to add a couple of streams during the week. So if you check back here, you'll see it. And you can actually add this ICS to your Google calendar. It'll auto sync with all of the events. And then that calendar also syncs with the Twitch calendar too. So yeah, we were looking at TypeScript code, TypeScript and SvelteKit. But let's do a summary. $43 close. So the first thing we did, fix issue tracker link. Oh yeah, I'll mention dpem for that. We set up lint staged. We set up offloading. We added the config loader. And then we merged that SEO component. And we've been talking about the logo. Okay, I'm gonna go run to the restroom, but when I come back, I'm gonna summarize everything that we did today for a nice little YouTube video. Oh, we did sing a song too, didn't we? That's not important. That's not important. What's up, Griffin? Can I recommend you a beginner-friendly ukulele song to practice? Uh, not. I don't know. Basically, I learned 4 chords. I don't even know what they're called. So that's one, no, 3 chords. Um, but I play guitar and bass and other stuff like that, so it was pretty easy for me to pick up the ukulele. And then like the birthday song that I sing and the coding garden song that I sing are just those same chords. It's not even the right key. Happy birthday to you. I need to disable. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to everybody's birthday in March. Happy birthday to you. For free? 74.45. I don't know. Yeah, it only looks effortless because I've been playing guitar for years. Yeah, I think because I think Happy Birthday went out of copyright. So it's actually okay to um sing it, but I'm singing it in the wrong key is the thing. All right, let's summarize what we have done. Let me turn this off. Fascinating. But so it's in the public domain now. Nice. It's actually really funny because there are so many movies throughout the years where they specifically don't sing happy birthday in the movie because of copyright. But they can now. Okay. Hello, friends. Welcome to Coding Garden. In this video, I'm going to summarize the work we did on our project Listed, which is an app that will allow users to create, share, and watch lists of YouTube channels. And today, we focused on loading states, creating a config loader, and then also setting up Lint staged. But first, I merged a pull request from Deepam Sen, who fixed a bug in our. Let me start over. Lint staged, auth loading states, config loader, SEO, logos. Again. Hello, friends. Welcome to Coding Garden. Welcome to this devlog, where I'm going to be summarizing the work we did on Listed, which is an app that will allow users to create, share, and watch lists of YouTube channels. We work on this app every single Friday, and today we did a few things. We set up Lint staged in the app. We added some loading states for when authorization and authentication is happening. And we also set up configuration loading. So we have a Zod validator that validates any environment variables that we're bringing in. First up, I merged this pull request from Deepam Sen, who fixed a bug in the database seed code. So before, when we were seeding the database, the common name just got seeded as empty, but we actually wanted to seed it as null. So they fixed this because instead of using nullish coalescing, they just use the OR statement. There's a time and a place for nullish coalescing. In this instance, we actually wanted to do this because the left-hand side was not null or undefined. It was the empty string. So thanks for that fix, because now when you run the seeds, the common name will be null instead of the empty string. And then during the stream, we worked on setting up Lint staged. So Lint staged is a package that makes it so whenever you run your linter or your type checker, it only runs it against the files that have been staged for the commit. And what's nice about this is if you're working on the app, maybe you're working on documentation or something like that, and you haven't touched any TypeScript or Svelte files, you don't want to have to wait for the linter and the type check to run because you haven't changed anything that would cause errors in those things. So Lint stage is really cool because once you set it up, it runs the linter and it runs the type checker only against the files that have changed. So for instance, in our application, let's say that I have a linter error. So I'm just going to remove the semicolon on this line. Now I have a linter error. And if I attempt to commit this, so I'm gonna stage it. So now that it's staged, when I try to commit this, it should block the commit because of our commit hooks, but specifically our commit hooks are calling lint stage. So now when I do this, you can see that we have a matcher, and it essentially only found the files that have changed. So in this case, this was the only file that changed, and it only had to run the linter on that one file. It didn't have to run it across the rest of the code base. And you can see that it errored, and it prevented me from committing, which is great. So to set this up, So to set this up, we installed lint staged into our project, and then we added a lint staged RC file to the root, and we added a matcher. So any JavaScript, TypeScript, CJS, Svelte, or TSX files that it comes across will first run through the type checker, and it specifically only passes the files that changed into the type checker. So the type checker doesn't have to run for everything. And then after that, it runs ESLint. So any files that match this, that's what's going to run whenever we do a commit. And it's great because now the linting and the type checking goes a lot quicker. So that was great. And then the next thing we did was set up auth loading states. So before, whenever you clicked log in, there was like a split second before you got redirected. And also when you click log out, there was a split second before you were actually logged out. Now we added these little loading spinners like that, and we disabled the button so that the user knows something is happening. Same thing on logout. So when you click this button, now it shows a spinner so the user knows that something is actually happening. Those were pretty easy fix. We basically just have a loading variable that we set when the buttons are clicked. And now the user has a better user experience when logging in and logging out. And then the last thing we did was we set up a configuration loader. Don't do aliases. You know, I could agree with you, but I'm so used to them. So in the code base, in the lib directory, we created a file called config.server.ts, and that basically loads in all of our environment variables. Now, SvelteKit actually has a built-in way of creating types for your environment variables. So if you, in SvelteKit, if you import from $env static private, that is actually going to throw a type error if the specific environment variable that you imported doesn't exist. So like if I try to look for banana, we actually get a type error here that says it's not actually exported. And then if you add it to your .env, then it becomes exported. So that is nice, but we also wanted to do further validation than just does it exist. And for that, we brought in Zod. So Zod is a schema validation library, and we basically set up a schema that corresponds to all of our environment variables. So we also have some validation. So the auth secret needs to be a minimum length of 32. All of these other strings can't be empty and have to have a length longer than 1. And then the database port will get coerced. So we pull in from the environment variable, everything is strings, but Zod will take that string and turn it into a number. And if it's not specified, we'll default it to 5432. So we set up this validator, and then we pass all of our environment variables into that validator, and this will throw an error if any of them are missing. So this is nice because if you spin up the app, like let's say you're trying to work on this, you're a new developer, you're trying to work on this locally, you spin up the app. If any of these things are missing from your .env, the app won't even start, and it's going to show you an error to tell you which ones are missing. And this is just a good developer experience. The other thing we did was we now prevent people from importing from here. So basically, if you want to use any of the environment variables, you have to import this config and use it from there. So for instance, in our hooks.server, we're now importing config, and then when we needed them, we're doing config. And the idea is, if we ever need to add a new environment variable, we're going to add it to this validator here, and that way we know if we're missing it or not. And we also added a linter rule to prevent people from importing from env static private. So in the linter, we added this rule, no restricted imports, and we passed that in. So that way, if someone's new to the code base and they try to import from here, they're going to get a linter error. And then if they read the contributing guide, it tells them, hey, you should actually be importing from config, not from env static private. So this is just a quality of life thing. Any other developer that works on the app will now have a good idea of what environment variables need to be set up. And then lastly, I merged a PR from Limotes. So they set up what's called an SE. So they set up an SEO component that sets the title and description of the meta tags of any page that gets rendered. And they did it in two parts. So for one, there's a store. A store is essentially accessible and writable from any component. And this has the title and the description. So if there's some page that needs to change the title or change the description, they can just change the value inside of the store and it will be updated. But those values are brought into the actual SEO component. So the SEO component exports those things as props, which can be set. And then the SEO component specifies all of these things, title, description, and all of these OG and Twitter tags and stuff like that. And so for some components, it makes sense to pull in the store and then just specifically set the items in the store. But for other components, it might make sense to import the SEO component and specify the props. So you have two ways of specifying title or description. You import the SEO component or you import the store. But now title and description can be set from any page. So big thanks to Limotes for making this change. And also big thanks to Oscar for all the feedback whenever they were working on this component. And we also talked about logos. So if you've been following this issue on the Git repo, quite a few people have submitted suggestions for logos for our app. And I thank each and every one of you. There were a ton of really good options, but we spent a little bit of time today kind of like narrowing them down. And we narrowed them down to these two different options. So this one from Mark Boots and this one from Amasil. I'll say I like this one. I like how we have like this italic L. We have talked about potentially we want it to be a little less tilted because it kind of looks like a V right now. So if it's a little less tilted, maybe that'll work. We haven't settled on color either. And then we like this one, but we also potentially don't want the logo to look like this because that kind of looks like an F. It reminds us of like Figma. But if this was oriented to look more like an L, that could potentially work as well. So we narrowed it down to those two. If you want to vote on this, open up this issue on the Git repo and then just emoji react. If you like this top one, emoji react with tada. And if you like this one, emoji react with the rocket. You can see it's a somewhat close race, but people are preferring this logo a little bit more. So definitely vote if you want to have a say in it. And we haven't decided yet. And I'm not just going to go with the one that gets the most votes. I'm going to use your feedback. And also we'll do some potential iterations on these logos from the people that created them as well. Okay, that's all for this devlog. Thank you for watching. If this was useful or any of my other content was useful, please consider supporting me. If you go to coding.garden/support, it has all the ways that you can support me, and I'd really appreciate it. Definitely tune in every Friday. I'm live on Twitch right now, twitch.tv/codinggarden. We work on this exact same app, and what do I want to say? Definitely tune in every Friday on Twitch, twitch.tv/codinggarden. We're working on this exact same app, so I'd love to see you in the chat for vote so I can do whatever. Yeah, exactly. What do I want to say? I think I just need to stop saying words. Definitely tune in every Friday on Twitch, twitch.tv/codinggarden. I'm live right now, and I'll be working on this app. So I'd love to see you in the chat while I'm working on it. I guess that's it for now. See ya. Take 1 million. No, so here's the always be plugging. you tell people you're live right now so that they go to twitch.tv/codinggarden, even if you're not live, because chances are you might actually be live. So I always say I'm live right now. Cool. All right, this was fun. Let's get out of here. Last break of the day. I guess technically they do. I've been. It depends. A few weeks ago, I posted them like on Saturday or Sunday. But lately I've been posting them the day of the stream, so it could make sense too. Ultimately, it's just to get the people to come over to Twitch. If you're a sub, you can use that raid message. If you're not a sub, you can use this raid message. Let's go on a raid. Also, check out the schedule. So, if you want to know when I'm going to be live next, go there. It has all. It's not updated for next week, but it will be. And yeah, no coloring today. We're just getting out of here. And definitely go follow on YouTube. So, if you're just joining us and you're sad that I'm leaving, lots of stuff on YouTube that you can watch. And if you go there, it has the combined all of the YouTube channels and stuff like that. And join my mailing list. I send go live notifications, weekly updates, all that good stuff. Let's go. Alrighty, everyone. Wherever you are in the world, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night. And until next time, here's this.